in middle school, and for not practicing much, I consider myself pretty good. Studying was easy. It didn't take me long to learn. Suddenly, my whole world moved to Texas. It's kind of crazy because we drove 3 days in order to reach Andy's orientation the same day we arrived in Dallas. It's a whole different world over here, but people are so much more willing to form connections with. It's so strange how we would have whole conversations with random people at the supermarket. The highways were a frightening mess. What do you mean a 30-minute drive is pretty common? A tornado watch. Are we gonna die? Anyways, I soon learned that the things that came naturally to me couldn't just remain that way. I couldn't get away with floating through things. The first shop was Alphon. I remember going into my first class ever at the Highland School. It was Miss Moreno's geometry class. That whole class, I was trying to single out the smart kid in the class. There's always one. Pretty soon, I figured out that Alphon was a universally recognized smart kid. I spent the next few years trying to beat him. The only problem was that my talent for academics began to get in the way. It became fun to not study until 30 minutes before the exam. It was even more fun when I would get 90s and 100s. It was a gamble. It was thrilling, and wow, would I feel good about myself. This was already an unhealthy practice, but it only got worse when I let my perfectionism get in the way. Remember when I said that everything I did had to be the best? I wouldn't start my essays because my topic wasn't interesting or unique enough. I wouldn't finish my essays because my writing wasn't good enough. I sat down staring at homework assignments because I was too proud to start them. I found ways to distract myself from that, and this led to a massive case of procrastination that I'm still trying to overcome now. My grades tanked. I didn't train. I lost accomplishments and opportunities, and I never beat Alphon. I shrugged them off to the side. Although to everyone else, it may have seemed like I didn't care. On the inside, I resented myself, knowing how I had wasted my potential. I haven't even recognized all of this until recently. Without the Highlands, I wouldn't have realized all of this in myself. My teachers, especially Miss Ashar, taught me how important it is to just start something. She forced me to word vomit for 10-minute intervals so that I could break down that mental block that I built so high. Grandma taught me it was important to trust your body before you could even hope to jump up to your highest. Miss Dory taught me that building a relationship with God didn't have to be over the top and super special. It just looks like having a simple conversation every single day. Miss Beasley was so very patient with me, giving me chance after chance to keep my grades up. She taught me how important it is to slow down and that it is okay to say no. People will ask you for anything and expect everything from you, but that is a limit that you must set for yourself. There's only so much you can give and do. The common theme in all of these everyday lessons is that it's okay to float for a little bit. It's okay to let go of a few things until you can trust yourself to be good enough without being perfect. I think it's important to recognize that always higher doesn't start until you heal and recognize the things that hold you back. I've been pushing for so long without realizing the harm that my complacency and perfectionism is causing to me and the person I can be. It was like I was running up a hill in slow motion with a parachute streaming behind me. The Highlands helps you take that parachute off. The people in this community notice me, notice my struggle, and help me start on my real journey to living the school's motto, always higher. You can't really reach your new highest point without having a stabilized knowledge of yourself. Only then can we heal those cracks in our base. And then only afterwards can we truly go higher. So I want to thank my parents for always trying to teach me this throughout my whole life, even though it's taken me this long to recognize it. I want to thank my teachers, Mr. Pham, Ms. G, Ms. Kathy, Ms. Moreno, Mr. Shawcross, Ms. Ashar, Coach Grima, Mr. Anderson, Ms. Perez, Mr. Sanoman, Coach Holbrook, and Ms. Dory, and all the rest of the teachers and admin of this remarkable school for all their hard work in helping me rebuild my base. My journey here is one that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And to those who still have the end of high school in their sights, good luck, and I hope you take my advice to heart. To my fellow classmates, it's been a blast, and I hope to see you all along the rest of our journeys. Thank you.
And now, it's a great honor to introduce our commencement speaker today. A man whose dedication to education, love of learning, and deep connection to our community have left a lasting legacy in our school and especially in our hearts. Dr. Richard Olenek, a long-time beloved professor of physics, has been shaping minds and inspiring students at the University of Dallas since 1979. He is known for his engaging courses in physics and astronomy. He has supervised over 50 undergraduate theses and has always remained, first and foremost, a passionate teacher, one who sparks a deep love of learning in every student that he encounters. Dr. Olenek's impact extends far beyond the classroom. He has served as the Associate Project Director of the acclaimed PBS series, The Mechanical Universe, and co-authored its companion textbooks, published by Cambridge University Press. He has also received multiple grants from the National Science Foundation and the U.S. Department of Education for his groundbreaking work in physics education, including the development of the Comprehensive Conceptual Curriculum for Physics, C3P. We have been incredibly blessed to have Dr. Olenek teach at the Highland School. Because more than a teacher, he truly is an inspiration, one who has left a lasting mark in all of our hearts. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Richard Olenek on the stage, the true embodiment of the Highland spirit, as he imparts his wisdom and encouragement upon all of us today.
Well, my printer ran out of ink last night when I did a final version, so I think but thank you, Ms. Moreno, for that introduction. And Executive Director Moreno, Principal Beaver, Father Jared, dedicated faculty, colleagues, families of graduates, and most of all, getting get very emotional, you, the graduates of 2025. I am really honored and humbled to speak to you this morning, to present you with some thoughts, some advice, and some praise. To many, your degree symbolizes that you made it. You got up mornings, Monday through Friday for 4 years, came to THS, attended classes and satisfied state requirements and attained a GPA worthy of being designated a graduate. But you know, your degree signifies much more, and your preparation for today was much more than counting hours. Your degree attests to the ideas you explored, the interests you developed, the deepening of your faith, the formation of lifelong friendships, and to the questions you began to ask yourself about life, the world, and existence. You have matured so much from very, very talkative, loud sophomores to poised, confident, very articulate, and not too loud seniors. Last year I would go from teaching you as juniors right after class to teach sophomores at UD. And often I asked my students, how can high school students talk so much? What do they talk about? I really didn't understand this. And my college students would smile winsomely, probably recalling how much they talked in high school. I, on the other hand, believed from childhood that we had a bag of words, and if I talked too much and the words in the bag were used up, I couldn't speak until the next day. So I watched my words and counted them. And I even would wake up occasionally in the middle of the night wondering how I was going to engage you in class so that physics was more interesting than talking about sports teams, prom dresses, and the like. So I sought advice from more experienced teachers, and I got the reply, oh yes, they were a tough class as sophomores. And a few weeks ago, one of your class members stopped by the physics lab to chat and looked to the back of the room and remarked, yes, we were loud. Thank you for doing that, because you're not. You're wonderful. And so I guess there's a phrase that I encountered not too long ago that I think beautifully shows something about this. And that's in Amharic, the language of Ethiopia. And it's Kespikes Inkula Begru Yechada. Little by little, the egg walks. So, you've progressed, you're walking, you've changed, you've grown. Well, more happened, I believe. One fateful snowy day in January, your weirdness became apparent. Yes, you are weird. Now, last night, two people who offered reflections on you remarked that it is weird, or they are weird. I think the meaning the speakers were intending was really the Anglo-Saxon source of that word, but it was W-Y-R-D, and that's what I'm referring to. Weird is a concept that translates as fate or destiny, as when Beowulf says, "Let weird prevent that he takes more men of the kin often again after this night," when he's going to battle the Grendel. Weird is the unfolding of our personal destiny. It literally means that which has turned on, or that which has become. But the Catholic meaning of weird is much more. It means the mystical presence of divine providence. St. Augustine, one of the Church's greatest minds, once wrote, "Trust the past to God's mercy, the present to his love, and the future to his providence." That's the Christian view of weird. Not as some impersonal force, but as God's mercy and love and providence shaping the threads of your life. I fully believe that God's providence brought you and me, and actually everyone on this stage, and all the teachers out here, to the Highland School. I distinctly recall when that providence I accepted was when a teacher friend would tell me about how enjoyable it was to teach these students who were interested, who were engaged, who would really run away with ideas. And then one day I ran into your founder, Mr. Dan Hennessy, at the Spirit Grove, which was an appropriate name for that. And he remarked, "You should teach at the Highlands." And so I did. Providence guided me to THS to learn so much, just as Providence guided your parents to send you here, and the teachers who teach you. We all listen to God in our hearts and minds. And here, I believe you encountered something else, and that is true joy. There are the religious, Brother Timothy, Brother Jared, Miss Dory, Miss Mary. You are so blessed to have them for me. And there's also joyful teachers, all of them. Mr. Shellcross, Mr. Hunt, Miss Esha, all the faculty, as well as your lifelong friends that you've developed. You experience true joy where you are unaware of yourself, but only in engagement in class discussions or in the pondering of presentations or in the exchange of ideas with friends or prayerful reflections. In physics, we say that the interaction shapes everything. You cannot be touched without being touched. G.K. Chesterton summed it up by saying, "Joy is the uproarious labor by which all things live, and joy lives on here." So now what about your futures? As you look to or past these days. Well, the early Greeks viewed their encounter with the future quite differently